Hello and welcome back to Dance with Shaka TV. So as a heels dance teacher, one of the questions I get asked the most is, what heels do you wear to a heels class? And so I'm gonna answer that question for you today. I'm gonna show you a bunch of heels that you can wear and a bunch of heels that you should not wear to heels class. Let's get started. Okay, so starting off with the heels that you should not wear to heels class. Okay, so you probably have these heels in your closet, like a simple Mary Jane type. This is just like a little ankle strap, a teeny tiny little thing here, and honestly, they're not the greatest, okay? One, there is no ankle support. This is not gonna do anything for your actual ankle. Your foot, it seems like you're a little bit in there, but your foot could fly right out at any time. And it's a very stiff sole. It's really not a great pair of heels for heels class. Another pair of heels you might have already in your closet is gonna be the pump. Now, I do not recommend a pump for a beginner dancer, possibly never, though some professionals do like to use a pump. I do not recommend it at all for beginners, because your foot could just literally fly right out of this shoe, okay? Unless it's fitted perfectly to you. But again, it's not gonna be very flexible, and you're gonna find that your toes being so enclosed is gonna be really tough for you to do some of the moves. And then again, a high stiletto, there's no ankle support. This is just not a shoe to start with in class. Another shoe that I will never want to see you wearing in heels is a wedge. Whoa, oh my gosh, I know you'll probably have wedges in your closet. They're probably super comfortable and you might wear them all the time, but it is just a very bad scenario. So you've got the platform, which one takes you away from the floor, so you're a little bit less stable. You've got, there's no breakup in the heel and the front of the shoe, so you're not gonna be able to have any movement of course, there's no movement in this. And then if you have this little roll in the front, which is terrible for your balance, especially when you're doing things like leg traces or anything where your head is coming down and then coming back up, you're gonna find that you're gonna really struggle for balance in a shoe like this. So another heel that I definitely don't want to see you wearing in heels class is a pleaser. So some of you might not have pleasers, but if you go to pole dancing classes or, there's a bit of confusion sometimes with heels class, and is it kind of connected to the erotica space, the pole dance space? And though we do share some of the same movements, they're not similar styles of dance, and because in heels class, you're gonna have a lot more weight transfers and balances and potentially turns and things like that. This shoe, you can probably tell, is very dangerous for those things. You're way too high off the ground. This is a very skinny stiletto, and these ones specifically don't have any ankle support. You can get ones with more ankle support, but again, I just don't think that a 6-7 inch heel is really what you want to start off with in a heels class. You probably won't love it. And then of course the little roll, which I think is just very dangerous as well. These are, if you're not used to dancing in heels at all, this should definitely not be a first shoe that you go for. But however, I will say the one caveat to this is that if you know 100% from the choreographer of the class that the whole class is going to be on the floor, there's going to be only floor work, then you can try to dance with these, because on the floor, if you're not putting any weight on them, they're kind of fine, and they're lovely because they're a nice extension of the leg for all the lines that we do in class. So you can use them, but only if there's only floor work, okay? You don't want to see anyone else in these bad boys. Okay, so before I go into the shoes that you should be wearing to heels class, I'm going to tell you the 3 things that I look for in a shoe for heels class. I wanna always have ankle support. That is so important, especially when you're doing all these turns and weight changes and all these dips down. You wanna have really good ankle support. Until you build that strength in your ankle, you wanna be able to have a shoe that supports your ankle. The second thing is that the heel has to be stable. You might not be able to be in a stiletto right off the bat. You wanna maybe have a lower heel, only 2 or 3 inches, or maybe you wanna have a chunky heel that is wide around so that you have a very sturdy base when you're dancing. And the third thing is a flexible sole. So I say this because it's extra important to be in a heel that you can really feel the ground through your feet. And that's something you won't really understand until you've been in a shoe that you can do that with, because it makes all the difference. You can actually use your toes to help grip the floor, help widen your stance, balance better. And you can only do that in a shoe that you actually have that malleability in the sole of the shoe. Okay, so those are the three things that I look for. Now, not every shoe you're gonna have will fit those three things, but some come very close. So this is a shoe that you probably already have in your closet. Anything like a fall or spring bootie is gonna work really nice. Now, this has, I would say, 2 out of the 3 requirements that I look for. So you've got a bit of ankle support. Yeah, this one's not the best for ankle support, but it has something around the ankle. Your foot is not going to fly to this shoe at all. And second, it also has a very sturdy heel. This is about a 2.5-inch heel, and it's super thick. I'm not going to fall. I feel very balanced, close to the floor in this shoe. And then of course you don't want to get a fall boot or spring boot, whatever you call these, with a platform. That's the one thing that I would stay away from. The platform is going to bring you higher off the ground. It's going to feel harder for you to ground down through your feet and your legs, and you're going to feel a little bit more shaky, and your balance is going to be thrown off. So try for one that does not have a platform. That'll be way easier. Now the only thing for this obviously is that it's not the most flexible sole. It's a little flexible, you know, you got that much movement, but it's not super flexible. You're not going to be able to feel the floor through your feet at all in this boot. And you know, whatever, when you're starting out, you're just going to have to get the best one. Might not be all 3 requirements checked off, but hey, this meets a lot of them, and you probably already have this, so then therefore you don't have to go buy a different shoe. The one thing I find is not the best with an ankle boot like this is floor work. You're gonna find this is a heavier heel. It's very chunky. It's not really slim to the foot, and the heel is quite chunky, so it's gonna feel a little heavier when doing things like floor work. It's not gonna be the easiest to point your toes, keep those legs nice and straight, because you are gonna be weighed down. So just keep that in mind. If you have a floor work class, you know, I suggest maybe a slimmer shoe. A couple of the other ones I have that I'm gonna show you would work really well, or you just wear socks. I mean, floor work, you don't really need to have heels on. It's totally fine. Okay, the next shoe is something you might not have in your closet, but I highly, highly recommend for beginner heels dancers. One of the best shoes that you can start off with is a ballroom heel. Okay, so you're gonna see all 3 requirements are met in this heel. So you have a very small, short little heel, you know, not too far from the ground, and you can really customize these. These come from anything from like 1 inch to about 3 inches high. I believe this is like 1.5 inches or 2 inches. It's very, very short to the ground, and it's a flared heel. So you're actually gonna find that you have a lot more stability because of that. These are also, the flexibility is there. You can absolutely feel the floor through the shoe in this, because it's a very thin suede bottom. Note that it will be a little slipperier depending on the flooring that you're using, and you have a little bit more ankle support. Okay, so this is a nice strap. It wraps around the foot. It has a little bit of support in the ankle right here to keep you locked in and to keep your ankle a little bit more sturdy right there. Okay, so this is a great shoe. They are a bit harder to find because they're only sold at specialty stores, dance stores, but they are built for dancers, so they absolutely know what they're doing, and they're a really great shoe to start off heels classes with. Okay, now we're getting into some of my favorites. So here we have the lace-up Stiletto Bootie. Now, in my opinion, this is the perfect shoe for a heels class. You've got low to the ground, no platform. You've got an open toe, so you actually get even more space for the toes that are not scrunched in. This is a stiletto, but you can get them in a chunkier heel, a shorter heel, a flared stiletto heel, and of course you have ankle support. And then there's so much customization. You can literally tie up the whole thing to fit your foot perfectly, and you'll feel so snug in there. And these are just a dream. These are my absolute favorite pair. I believe this is my 3rd pair of these specific exact shoes because I just love them. They've even done something special where they put a little clip on the side so that you can actually store your excess laces in there so that you don't trip, because that can be a hazard. Now, these are from the company BURJU, and I highly recommend them. They are specifically a heels dance shoe brand, and they've been killing the game. Okay, so they have pole dance heels, they have heels dance heels, and they have ballroom dance heels. So they have such a wide variety of different types of heels, different styles, different colors, and then they have a whole way to customize all your heels. So you can customize the heel height. Some of them offer a chunky heel or a flared heel. You can also customize the sole. So you can get a suede sole like the Ballroom shoes, or you can get a rubber sole, which is good for outdoor use. And I always get outdoor in case I want to wear them out, which I do often because they're so stylish and they go with a lot of my clothes. And then of course you can customize like color and things like that. Like these come in a nice brown. There's so many abilities for you to customize. Now, the one thing I will say about BURJU, they are an American brand. So for Canadian girlies like me, you're gonna have to pay for the exchange rate, the shipping, possibly duties, and it can be quite the large amount. So I will say that these are an investment shoe. If you're like dedicated, you want to really put your all into heels dance and you're tired of the heels you have, I would say go for a shoe from BURJU. They're absolutely incredible. Quality is amazing. Customer service is great. And if you want a 25% off code, you can find it below in the description. Now, my other favorite pair of heels I just have to mention because they match my shirt perfectly today. And these are from actually a friend of mine. So these are the Appeal official shoes. Now, they are basically the exact same. You know, they have the ankle support, they have the lace up, they have the open toe, and they have the stiletto heel with a very flexible base. So it's a very similar heel, but the best thing about this is this brand is Canadian. So if you're a Canadian girly and you don't want to do the shipping and the exchange and the duties and stuff like that, this is basically the go-to Canadian shoe brand for you. They don't have as wide variety of styles yet, but they're growing. You know, they're a couple years old and they have some really, really good ones, and their shoes last really long and they're really good quality. This is a very thick and quality leather that I absolutely love. And the heel, I have to say, is just a smidge thicker than an average stiletto. And you're really gonna notice that when you wear these heels. So I think that's actually pretty genius. So these ones, I also have a code for 10% off, and the brand also has some clothes and other things as well. But yes, these are my favorite from Canada. And then as well, you're gonna find brands that are popping up all over the place. There's brands in Europe, there's more brands in the States that offer shoes like this for dance. These are dance-specific brands that are now coming out of the woodwork. When I started, they did not exist. It took a long time. It took about a year until I found an actual good pair of heels that I could dance in that fit all these requirements. I had to go the hard route and trial and error a lot of things. So it's totally normal for you to just use what you have for a while and then slowly build up a collection or get the right shoe that is best for you. And I will say that these days, there are dupes for everything, okay? So I have listed a couple Amazon links below that will take you to a heel that is very similar in style. You know, you're gonna have the lace ups, you're gonna have a stiletto, you're gonna have an open toe, things like that. It's a very similar style. Quality will be a little different, but that'll be at a much lower price point. If it's something you just want to try and see how you like it, you can find a couple really good Amazon dupes down below. Okay, so now for my all-time faves, but this is for a little bit more of an intermediate. If you're really into heels and you've been killing it and you just want like a fun new pair of heels, these will have to be my favorite. These are my thigh-high booties, and I absolutely love them. So yes, you can definitely go for a thigh-high because that'll definitely keep your ankle nice and secure. These are a lace-up on the side, so a great, cute little detail there. They've got a zip-up on the inside. They're the leather, the vegan leather. They've got the open-toe shoe, so you can still like feel the ground. It's very malleable, and it's a stiletto, a bit thicker. So this is also from Appeal. These are my favorite. I did a whole review on just these boots when I got them because they were absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend if you want to spice up the game, you want to spice up your style, your look, you want to go a little extra for heels class, I definitely recommend you try their thigh high. They're so fun and they're a staple for me. I love them. So I hope this video helped. If you are looking to take a heels class and you have absolutely no idea what heels to wear, I hope you have a couple ideas now. You can always ask me some questions in the comments below and I'd be happy to help, happy to share more links, happy to share more businesses and companies that I personally know of that I recommend that you go and shop from. But again, if you want to start small, look in your closet, go to the thrift store, head to the mall and see if you can find a couple of these types of shoes somewhere that you know so that you don't have to spend so much money before going to your first heels class. And then once you fall in love with the style and you want to commit more to it, then you can make the investment. All right, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them below in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Whee!